I just finished watching The Old Guard 2, so here's my take. It's wild to think the first Old Guard released back in 2020, right in the middle of the COVID lockdown. And honestly, I wasn't too mad at it, It wasn't a masterpiece, yes I know, but there were enough interesting moments to keep me hooked until the end, and that post-credit scene definitely made me want to see more of this world. Now, as for The Old Guard 2, for me, it's more of the same. The movie has its moments, but overall, it struggled to hold my attention consistently. What I did appreciate in this sequel was the deeper dive into the lore, especially the vulnerability of losing immortality. We also get to see more insight to some character backstories, which helps explain their motivations better. Charlize Theron returns as Andy and delivers another strong performance, but beyond her, I felt the rest of the cast were underused. There were several characters I wanted to connect with more, but the writing just didn't give them enough space to develop. New additions Uma Thurman as Discord, an ancient, vengeful immortal, and Henry Golding as Tua, a scholar fascinated by immortals, had real potential to shake things up. Sadly, it didn't quite land, though again, that's more in the writing than a reflection of their performances. Visually, the movie looks big with multiple locations and scale, but the story itself felt small and contained. I expected the sequel to expand the world and mythology, but it just didn't deliver on that promise. One of my biggest frustrations in this movie was the action. It often felt slow and lethargic, and the editing just didn't help. You'd expect immortals who've lived for centuries to be expert fighters, but that skill wasn't really showcased here. So my final verdict for this movie is, if you enjoyed the first Old Guard, you'll probably enjoy this sequel. But if you're like me, curious about the world and not fully sold on the original, you might find this one underwhelming. Honestly, I think this story would work better as a TV series, given more time to explore the characters and mythology properly. With that said, I'm giving The Old Guard 2 a Lowry rating of a C-. It's a mediocre movie that just doesn't quite live up to its potential.